Imagine a woman who excels at almost everything she tries. A professional basketball player representing her country on the national stage. A biomedical engineer respected in her field. By any measure, Yasmin Helal was living a successful life in Cairo: career, education, recognition. She was, in her own words, doing very well. But here's the thing about success. It can keep you so busy that you stop seeing the world around you. One evening, Yasmin was driving home from festival. She stopped at a traffic light, and 3 street children approached her car, asking for money. She found some cash she'd been meaning to donate elsewhere and handed it over. They asked for more. She didn't have more, but instead of driving away, she made a promise. Come back tomorrow. I'll have more then. That single moment cracked something open in her. She felt guilt. She had lived in the same city as these children her entire life and had never truly seen them. And she felt gratitude for her education, her home, her parents. 2 feelings. One fork in the road. Around that same time, Yasmin had been reading a book, Leaving Microsoft to Change the World by John Wood, about a tech millionaire who walked away from his career to build schools and libraries for children living in poverty. The book had planted seed. The 3 street kids watered it. She went back the next day, as promised. She kept her word, probably astonishing those children in the process. And she came away with more than a feeling. She came away with a mission. Yasmin didn't just feel inspired and post about it. She worked for 4 months. She walked into poor communities near her home. She went to public schools. She asked questions. She listened. She wanted to understand, not assume, what people actually needed. What she found surprised her. Children were arriving at school at 8 or 9 years old without knowing how to read or write. Schools were spending extra money to have teachers stay after hours just to bring these kids up to speed. The problem wasn't just poverty. It was a system struggling to catch up with itself. With the support of 3 like-minded individuals, Yasmin turned her initiative into something bigger and more lasting. Together, they built a foundation, one designed not just to put children in school, but to change the whole child. They created a character-building program. They introduced creative arts. They took kids outside their neighborhoods, sometimes for the first time, to see their own country, to feel proud of where they came from, to connect with something larger than their circumstances. And crucially, Yasmin made sure every naira, every pound, went exactly where it was meant to go, directly to school fees, uniforms, and supplies. Not handed to middlemen, delivered with accountability. Not everyone understood. In fact, almost no one in her immediate circle did. Friends told her the problem was too big, that she'd never make a dent, that if she really wanted to help, she could just volunteer for an NGO or write a check. The only thing people were willing to offer her was money, not hands, not time, not belief. She kept going anyway, because sometimes the people who love you most are the least equipped to understand where you're being called. 3 months after starting the project, Yasmin made a decision that would have seemed unthinkable just a year before. She quit her engineering job. Her company asked her to stay on for 1 more month, and she showed up physically, but her mind and her heart were somewhere else entirely. She had already crossed a threshold she couldn't uncross. I decided at that point, she said, that I would never again do something unless it contributed to people's development. Read that line again. Never again. That's not a career pivot. That's a life philosophy. Today, Yasmin's vision lives on as the Talita Foundation, and its flagship initiative is called Educate Me, aimed at enabling underprivileged children to pursue their dreams through education, values, and character building. It is hard work. Egypt has been through enormous change and upheaval. The uphill battle is real. But Yasmin perseveres, not out of obligation, not out of guilt, but because it makes her happy. Genuinely, deeply happy in a way that basketball and biomedical engineering, for all their rewards, never quite did. Yasmin's story points to something profound. Talent can take you far. Success can make you comfortable. But purpose, real, lived, chosen purpose, is where sustained happiness lives. She didn't find it in a classroom or on a basketball court. She found it at a traffic light, in the eyes of 3 children who needed someone to simply show up the next day. The question her story leaves us with is this: what are you driving past every day that's waiting for you to stop? You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You don't have to start a foundation. But Yasmin's story is an invitation to pay attention, to feel the pull, and to take one small, honest step toward the thing that makes you come fully alive. Because somewhere between who you are and who you're meant to be, there might just be a detour that changes everything.